What's going on, good people? Got a book review today. Formal book review. Quick book review. For The Miseducation of the Negro. Author, Carter G. Woodson. Date, published, 1933. Publisher, Associated Publishers. And the field is race relations. I'm going to be going over a few things in this book review. I'm going to try to make it quick. Author's main claims, argument, conclusions. The author's main argument in this book can be interpreted as how the modern Negro in America has been miseducated by the various systems surrounding the Negro, such as the education system and the church. One of the main reoccurring claims is that the Negro, American Negro, has been deceived away from true progression for his race by the traducers of the race. The author concludes the book by giving new methods of acting and thinking for the American Negro so that he may soon thereafter break away from the cycle of miseducation, poverty, and overall dismay that he is in. Why this book was written. This book was written so that the author could express his expertise in the field of education and highlight the many ills of the education of the Negro. The audience is the general populace of American citizens. However, the attention directed at the Negro may suggest that the audience is actually African Americans. Author and viewpoint. Carter G. Woodson is just a quick background. African American historian who was born in 1875, died 1950. The historian has published a multitude of books, some of which include the History of the Negro Church, The Negro in Our History, and Woodson is also coined with the creation of African American History Month, or Black History Month, which started as just Negro Week upon its first creation. Shortly after slavery was abolished, Woodson was born. Woodson's views most likely reflect the great discussion of African American education at the time, and the great racial tension that was apparent for African Americans at the time. Now, how does the book accomplish its purpose? The book accomplishes its purpose of explaining the miseducation of the Negro through a plethora of studies and experiences of the author. Some of the strengths and weaknesses are the many references to the real life of the Negro, which complements the study done on him in a social setting. This strength provides truthfulness to the claim presented by the author. However, one overarching weakness of this book is the choice of rhetoric. This book is a hard read and should be easily interpreted by all people who read it, or at least that's how it should be. And this is only because of the pressing issue that the book addresses. Now, the overall assessment and recommendation of this book, in my opinion. This book is extremely well written, and its quality and clarity, for those who can understand the rhetoric, tackled the issue of miseducation very well. This book meticulously goes over, in great chronological order, the start, details, and fixes of the miseducation presented in the book. I would strongly recommend this book. It is a token of history that should not go unrecognized. I would especially relate this book to Africans and African Americans, and even Americans, all Americans, today because of its relevance in our current times. How does this book compare to others in its field, or others of the time frame? Well, some of the similar books coming out during that time were Fighting for Life by Josephine Baker and Out of Africa by Isaac Denison. I believe this book brought a great topic to discuss during the time of the 1930s. What is the relevance of this book? Interracial discussions and race relations is the field this book is exploring. And this particular book, is very relevant to the field of race relations and interracial discussions. Intra-racial discussions. It sheds light on one of the very core principles of race relations in American education. It adds to the discussion of systematic and institutionalized racism in America. What does it contribute to one of our current discussions today? Well, one discussion I would like to highlight is the one of critical race theory and its relevance in higher education. I believe this book highlights just one of the ills of systematic racism in America and its effects. This book could easily serve as a relevant source of information for that particular discussion, really in favor of the teaching of critical race theory in higher learning institutions and all learning institutions. Why should educators care about this book? There are a multitude of reasons why educators should care about this book. However, one reason that I would specifically like to highlight is the practicality of the information presented. The ills of miseducation have not stopped just because Jim Crow is over. And I believe that not only should educators care about this book, but present this information to all history classrooms. This concludes the book review. Goodbye.